Well, hello and welcome to Business Morning. And fun fact, this is the last trading day of this week, as we have a public holiday tomorrow. That's Eid-ul-Mawlid. So make that trade count today. But let's get to the top stories that lead you to gains now, starting with our major forex earner now. We're seeing oil prices declined today about 1%, extending the more than 2% decline of the previous session. We see Brent crude future there losing that $68 level, 0.40% down for Brent crude. WTI losing big there from the $65 level per barrel. We're down 0.44%. We'll drill down on what's driving sentiment right there in the oil market, and also 1 year after the Dangote Refinery, how have Nigerians fared? We're going to discuss that right after this. Yeah, we'll see the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NISDA, Mr. Kashifu Abdullahi, says innovation is critical to various areas of development for Nigeria's economy. He made this known at the ongoing GTEX Nigeria 2025 exhibition that was held yesterday in Lagos, that's commercial capital, with global investors, policymakers, and over 1,000 startups converging. This year's event is being billed as a landmark moment in Africa's digital journey. Take a listen.
Innovation doesn't happen in isolation. People, if you want to innovate, you need to network. And also, innovation is not evenly distributed in the world. The world is not flat when it comes to innovation. But Lagos has been a hub for innovation. But we innovate in isolation. We build our infrastructure in Nigeria. We have the talent, everything. So this is opening the doors for people from the global tech ecosystem to come to Nigeria, to have the look and feel of what we have in Nigeria, to see the energy, to see we are really a crucible for innovation. And also, we have a raw talent and people with unshakable will to succeed. So when you match this at the intersection, you get impactful ideas and technology.
All right, so our first conversation, the Dangote Refinery has achieved a major milestone by exporting its first gasoline cargo, about 300,000 barrels, to the United States, according to S&P Global. This comes at a time when Nigeria is still grappling with fuel import dependence, foreign exchange shortages, and broader economic pressure. But let's discuss this and other matters now with Mr. Bismarck Rouhani, Managing Director, Financial Derivatives Company. Great to have you on the show, sir. So it's been 1 year since the Dangote Refinery came to operations. So far, how have you seen 1 year, so far, the impact to the economy and the impact to our pockets?
Yeah, good morning, Larry, and thank you for having me. It's a milestone. This is 1 year since the Dangote Refinery started production. But I want to share some data. Also, it's important to note that the first 300,000 barrels of refined products has been shipped to the United States, making the Dangote Refinery not only a domestic and regional conglomerate, but also turning it into a multinational. You must also bear in mind that the Dangote group or refinery actually went to a joint venture with Ethiopia. The Ethiopian government has 40% and the Dangote group has 60%. That makes it also a continental conglomerate, a global conglomerate, and also a regional champion. Now, having said that, what has happened in the last 12 months? In the last 12 months, Dangote Refinery has brought down the price of petroleum products 8 times and has increased it 3 times. This 8 times coincides actually with the rate of inflation. In this 12 months, the rate of inflation in Nigeria has actually declined only by 6 times and in the last 4 consecutive months. The last time the price of petrol was brought down in this country is as far back as 2009, when may so rest in peace, President Yar'Adua was in the office. It went down from 97 naira a liter to 87 naira a liter as a part of the stimulus package for Nigeria at that time. Ever since then, the price of petrol, and before then, price of petrol has only increased as the exchange rate depreciated. Now, what has happened in the last 12 months? We've had 8 times a reduction, 3 times an increase. And what we must bear in mind fully is that in this 12 months, there have been one Salah celebration, one Christmas celebration, New Year, and Easter. Typically, those seasonal, those festivities always coincide with fuel queues, right, and distortions to the transportation network. But in the last 12 months, both at Christmas, both at New Year, at Salah and Easter, and now tomorrow you have Eid al-Malud, there have been no queues at all. So we must take that into consideration, that even though the price increased sharply at the beginning of the period, and that was before, that was due to deregulation, but because of the economies of scale, because of the efficiencies of the system, because of the Naira for crude swap, we've had these 8 reductions and only 3 increases. In this period, in these 12 months, the price of crude peaked at about $82 a barrel. And as you just said now, the price of the Brent futures is down to 67. So I think that it is it's quite commendable, and it shows the resilience of the Nigerian economy at this time, and more than anything else, the efficacy of a privately led investment that can actually transform the economy. And that is why there's a strong correlation between, 1, the price of petrol coming down, and 2, the rate of headline inflation in the country.
Mr. Ronnie, it's just 1 year at this point. What do you see after, say, 2 years, 3 years? Do you see, petrol prices coming down a bit more? I know we still have that Oliver twist in us. We want petrol prices even lower.
Well, Ladi, you're asking me to try and predict whether it's going to rain today or tomorrow.
Yes.
I can't do the point is that what is within our control is the cost of production and the refining capacity. What is outside our control is the price of Brent. And you know that OPEC is going to meet on September 7th, and they are threatening to increase capacity, and that could bring the price of oil, global price of oil down. If that happens, then we have no choice, but the Nigerian petrol price will also come down. But at the same time, the revenue, the federal revenue collected from petroleum profit tax, royalties, and will actually decline. So it's a double-edged sword. We like high oil prices for our revenue, but we like low oil prices for our petrol tank. So that's the right situation. But also, I want to bring out the fact that, the promise was that in the month of September 1st, right, we would have uniform pricing due to the Dangote 4,000 CNG trucks taking petroleum products across the country. I think that has been moved forward by a month. The uniform pricing will kick in. And when that happens, you'll find that the differential in inflation rates between different parts of the country will kind of smoothen out. And that helps to lead to optimal allocation of economic resources in the country.
All right, Mr. Ron, another big issue right now, we see the shea nut prices in Nigeria have plunged by 33%, and that's on the back of government's decision to ban exports. Is this a good thing, or a mixture of good and bad, at this point? What does this mean for the farmers and the women farmers that depend on, revenue from those shea nuts?
It's a mixed bag. What we have done is to ban the export so that it could bring down domestic prices. And domestic prices are actually declining. But the point is that what does Nigeria need more? Is it just the reduction in domestic price of shea nut, or an increase in output and export so that we can have more dollars? So for now, I think it's a temporary ban instituted by the president, and I think he will review it very soon once we have balance. Remember, there was a time when we closed our borders and said that, okay, because our borders were open, the terrorists were coming in, and the telco companies were asked to shut down all the base stations around the border. What did we see? We did not see any reduction in terrorism activity. We did not see any. We did not see smuggling continue. So there's a limit to which regulations and protectionist policies can help economies. But the most important driver of economic activity and growth is the efficiency of the producer. And the point is that the farmers are efficient. Even if you ban it from now to tomorrow, they will find a way of getting it out. But the reason why it's not going out is the currency has stabilized, and today the naira is trading at about 15.37, which is one of the most appreciated point in the last 3-4 months. So you find that the naira has appreciated against the dollar about 3.5%, but the dollar actually depreciated against other currencies by about 2%. So net, you'll find that the naira is doing, it's stable in terms of its misalignment from the currency official value. But what we saw in the last 2 days was that the official rate appreciated more than the prior rate, and the gap, which was narrow, which was about 8 naira between in $1, has now expanded to 15 naira in a dollar. So I think that there's some activities going on there, which should normally bring the naira into equilibrium. We think that the naira will depreciate in the next 2-3 days, but not much, just marginally, and we trade between the 15.30 and 15.60 over the next 30 days.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bismarck Ruwani, and definitely enjoy the holidays that start tomorrow.
I didn't get that.
I said enjoy the holidays tomorrow. We have a public holiday, and I'm wondering how you're going to spend it, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it tomorrow.
Nothing is sure that I'm not going to buy peanut butter, but I'm going to be just chilling out to enjoy myself.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
I want to be like you when I grow up. Thank you so much, Mr. Ruwani, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's pivot to another conversation now. You know, access to finance remains one of the biggest challenges for individuals and small businesses across Nigeria. Millions are still excluded from formal banking services, limiting their ability to save, invest, or scale their businesses. Against this backdrop, Digitvant Microfinance Bank, they've entered the financial services space with a mission to empower people, support entrepreneurship, and drive financial inclusion through innovation and technology. Today we'll be speaking with Mr. Rotimi Adejol as a Chief Information Officer, and Tolulope Awode is the Chief Technology Officer at Digitvant Microfinance Bank. Together they'll be shedding light on what to expect right here with your entry into the market. It's good to have you both.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So you guys have been quite busy. You know, I've been following all your moves in Abuja and Lagos, and it's great to have you both here. But definitely access to finance, a big issue right now. I'll start with you, the CIO. You recently, went public, and definitely your app, your platform, seeing people, gaining access. I get a peep on it on the App Store yesterday. I saw over 10,000, downloads, and I'm like, that's quite, impressive. So, give me an overview of your vision. Entering this market. What are you seeing as the major problem, and how are you helping, gain access for most of these users?
All right. Yeah. Good morning once again, and thank you for having us. So Digitvant Microfinance Bank, it's licensed by the CBN and insured by the NDIC to carry out various range of businesses and banking services, from loan, investment, and savings. So, and what sets us apart in the market is the fact that we don't sit in the comfort of our office. We go out there to meet with the traders, the petty traders, the artisans, and what have you. So, in order for them to understand the essence of financial literacy, because most of the time we realize that a lot of these people in the lower rung of the economy, they don't really understand. They see banks as Shylocks, people that they just come out after your interest. But we are in the space to ensure that we design loans that will protect their dignity, not just about creating credit, but about protecting their own dignity. So in order for them to be financially independent, so we go out to them. We have various products that is designed for them. So we go out to the market. We've done a lot of market series in a lot of traditional markets in Lagos and some parts of some other rural areas of Nigeria. So that's what we do. We go to them, we teach them about financial literacy, we make accounts opening seamless for them, so that they will be, it will give them better access for them to access capital.
Right, because it's quite interesting. You go to the markets these days. There's a fintech account available for most of the women. They hardly give traditional bank accounts.
So we are not an elitist bank. So we are really, our bank is a combination of digital innovation combined with community-driven, solutions. So that's why we are doing a combination of brick and mortar and technology.
All right, let's look at the tech now. I'll come to you, Avis, to look. So you describe yourself as a digitally driven financial institution. How is your technology, enabling all of this? Because at the end of the day, your target audience there and the people the markets you're going to, sometimes most of them don't know how to use technology. And I'm wondering how you make your tech easy, for all these kind of people.
All right, thank you once again for having us. And then also, I will pivot from what Rotimi has said earlier. We present Digitvant as simple, easy to use, and also use relevant technologies for both market women, people that we consider that are not too literate, and those that are highly sophisticated users. Everybody wants simplicity. The model that we use is a simple approach for all technologies. In terms of access for people that are in the rural area that don't have access to probably internet, we have a drive for financial inclusion, give them technologies that is able to give whatever they need also. We have technologies that, after all, some of them have phone, it might not be smartphone. They have USSD. Then we also have the use of agent awareness. We have agent location cut across. Is growing. And then we'll make it easy for them. If you open accounts with any of these non-sophisticated approach, like you use SST to open an account, by the time you grow, maybe you also have a smartphone, you can actually also migrate. But the basic thing that people want to do, they want to have access to financial world. They want to also send and receive money. They want to do loan like any other person. They want to do investments. And we should not also deprive them because probably they are far away. And people that are close by, they have advantage. And one of the things that is very key for us, the word Digitvant is a spread of two words, digital advantage. So currently we are taking advantage of
I figured that in my head.
It's an advantage for everyone, and I'll give details to it maybe as we proceed. We're riding on data to assist people. Maybe when we get to deeper to that area, people will give you the insight into how we are helping people, assisting them with our support team that are readily available with technology and the advisory using all this machine learning and the likes.
Right, and definitely I know AI is going to play a big part in that.
Exactly.
And we're going to definitely get to that. But, there's also that issue of, financial independence, and recently we did see the consumer protector there talking about, putting down rules for most of the digital lenders, at this point. And you also spoke about, loans, and definitely I want to expect that your loans are not the type that would, the interest rate that will press somebody's neck. But how are you able to, balance, profitability and still, make things affordable, for your users so that they can actually get, financial independence?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it's all about the people, because it's people that keep you in business. So what we do constantly, and it's about constant engagement with market associations to know what exactly is their need. What do they actually need? Because some people, you might think they need so much money, but they just need a little money for them to be able to achieve their financial dream. So it's about sitting with them, engaging them, know their need. And there's a product that we have called Market Money. We've been able to empower over 50,000, businesses. In fact, a lot of people who have never have access to banking services, I mean, we've become their first experience in terms of banking experience, and they've been able to access credit, access small credit, micro loans, and this has really, we have a lot of testimonies that abound about that. So, and we are doing a lot to scale up, in terms of this market money, to bring in more SMEs into that space in order for them to enjoy this capital. So we are not, like I've said earlier, is to protect their dignity. Sometimes when you see people in suits walk into your shop, you believe that this person is only traditional, coming to take my. But we are not like that. What we just do is to understand their business, know what they do, know their challenges. We sit with them. If there's any challenge, if it's to restructure this facility, we do that. If we realize that daily repayments might be comfortable for you, so we try. We are very dynamic. We are very dynamic in terms of trying to restructure whatever the assets that they have in terms of trying to repay.
You did mention market money and how some of the users there, you are their first point of call when it comes to getting these kind of loans. But at the end of the day, it still seems quite risky on your part, giving out to some of them, because you don't really have their history. How do you manage that?
So and in terms of that, so we do we do micro loans. So, and the more loans that you do, the better for you in terms of, so we are not, the whole of our portfolio, we are not giving it to 5 customers. So you can give me a 1 million to invest now. I spread that across over 40 customers. And don't forget, most of these people, they are they are traders. Traders that they earn their income, their revenue on a daily basis. So you don't wait till the end of the month to come collect your own, your own share of the cake. Right. So what you do, we stay with them, we stay close to them. We have boots on the ground that is doing all this. So it's not just about technology for these people. So in order for us to be able to avoid whatever pitfall that's all this advancing loan might create for us. So our risk management is very, very robust. So in terms of determining that.
All right. So let's also pivot back now, because financial inclusion requires reaching people outside the traditional banking ecosystem. Talk to me about how the technology, how it bridges that gap.
Okay, so thank you. So the approach that we went into, because you would understand that there are so many competitors, many people that almost everybody you want to talk to are having one technology or the other. They have access to one fintech or one bank.
Because it's quite interesting you mentioned that, because I was trying to make payments at a local supermarket recently, and the fintech account name they gave me, I've never heard about that fintech before. So it seems there are a lot of fintechs.
Awesome. So I'm going to get to that. So
right.
Now, we did some analysis, and then we also continue to do that. Like I said, in Digitvant, we use data to actually make decisions. A professor once said that we live in a data-generated generation. That means if you have to look at all data, you can actually make meaningful insight. So how this helped us, the first thing that you've done, even the customers that want to all go and meet. So we did the classification. The classification was actually subdivided into about 3. You have customers that are actually speculative customers. They come into your app and then probably they have enough already. They don't want to do anything, they're just watching. They open an account, they don't complete the process. Then tier 1, you give them all that they need to move forward, but they're just still watching. They want to be sure maybe you are an example of an institution that will just go fade away in the next how many minutes. Or they also want to be sure that all the things they have promised, that you are able to fulfill them. The second is the transactional customers, which the customers that in need you in the supermarket, your most trusted app does not work. At that moment, the app that works, it was used. We have customers in that base. And then you have committed and loyal customers. Committed customers are customers that have enjoyed your service. So when we did the analysis, we saw that a lot of people don't even wear the garment of wherever fintech or banks that they use. They fall into any of all these 3 categories at any time. So what we have done is to ensure that we'll be your next closest body by the time your most trusted financial institution fail you. So make our service to be seamless. You make sure that when you do transaction, it's at immediate. So while we started, some people are at the level of speculation. Then the next thing we were doing was to make sure that we pull people from the first category to second category by throwing into them some of our promises, and then when they see the fulfillment of those promises, some of them move to transactional and some move to committed customers. The other levels that you now start to do, all these things have to be done based on the data that you have from customers.
Right, and definitely a lot of conversations about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
This week, with Jitech, but run me through the key features.
Okay.
On the app.
Okay.
And how most of your users are able to navigate them, and what you're expecting to in the pipeline that would make the user experience more seamless.
Okay, so the features on the app, I'll first start with the generic. Everybody knows when you have a banking app, the first is to pay, receive money.
Right.
So we make sure we do that also. You can do your other things you can do with other banks on the app, but we'll ensure that you can also do it better. And what we'll do is, this is era of AI where you have AI agents. We had an agent to watch you, study your pattern, and give advice straight that is non-disturbing. Most people, when you have prompts on your phone, sometimes you don't want those prompts. You understand? So then, most of the time, what we'll do is to ensure that we study the way you are, and then also give advice. And other features, we have savings products. We call it Colo. Colo Flex. We have Colo Flex, which is a flexible saving plan where you can withdraw at any time of your will. We have the discipline savings too, which is Colo Get. It's a target savings. You set a target, and then you keep watching until you are able to fulfill your targets with competitive interest rates. And then also we have some other features like the people coming to the app loan feature is on its way. We have USSD, which is normal for people that are in cross-rural areas. Then we have features more like investments. Apart from the normal savings, we want to do investments. And then we'll have features that can better benefit people that are still coming to be released on the app. Especially we have the insight and then the research we conducted. A lot of people are asking for digital lending to be on the app, you understand, which we've been doing at the level that Rotimi described it. And we've seen a lot of success. And what we're doing is just we have done a lot in research, and we just put all those things on the app. Right.
And I'm talking about, investments. Does it include stocks?
Yeah, definitely it will, because the current one we're still doing Save and Invest. The one that will have to do with stock and other brokerage on other layers, because we have several partnerships, several things that we'll do within the investment line, which, but when it's concluded by the investment team, we have a lot within Digitvant. We have a lot of team, we have research team, we have investment
Mr. Rotimi here,
he's head of investment.
Definitely, we love our investments, at this point. But, Mr. Rotimi, talk to me about, the role you're playing, with financial inclusion, how you see your process so far, and, looking ahead, what you're seeing for financial inclusion in Nigeria, and your role, the role you're playing in there.
Okay, so in terms of financial inclusion, so like I mentioned earlier, we are not elitist, so we recognize the fact that we have a lot of unbanked and underserved in Nigeria. So which is we have a lot of data, which is some are not accurate, but the fact remains that we have a good number of them, especially in rural areas. Even in the cities, few persons in the city centers as well. So what we are doing is to ensure that we deepen financial literacy. We also try to, like Tolu mentioned, make our account opening seamless, the customer journey quite seamless, because if it's cumbersome, a lot of people will be discouraged, to access the your banking service. So it's always better you make it as seamless as possible. 2 minutes is a long time, with what we have in Nigeria, in the global space today in terms of accessing and financial service. So it's as seamless as possible. And we, it's about the people. We go to them. We ask for their issues, we assist them. We have agents that assist people, that provide this services for people, for them to be able to have a good customer journey with us.
And definitely, when you give a customer a good experience, they want to come back.
Yeah, they want to come back and give you a referral.
Exactly.
So,
and we love referrals. But thank you so much. It was great having this conversation with both of you. Rotimi Digital as the Chief Investment Officer at Digitvant Microfinance Bank, and Mr. Tolu Lokpe, the Chief Technology Officer at Digitvant Microfinance Bank. Thank you both for helping us unpack this topic today.
Thank you.
Well, in 2024, IFC committed over $14 billion in Africa, with more than $1 billion dedicated to digital connectivity, from supporting over 1,200 startups through its venture platforms to piloting AI-driven healthcare solutions and expanding digital infrastructure. Well, IFC is positioning itself as a key partner in Africa's innovation journey. Joining us to discuss now, we have Dalia Khalifa, is the IFC's Regional Director for Central Africa, Liberia, and Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. Joining me right here in the studio. It's good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
Quite a lot of hats you wear.
Well, that's the way we do it,
Country
I guess.
hats. It's great to have you. So we're seeing, significant investment, from the IFC, in Africa, especially for the digital economy.
Yeah.
Why is the digital economy so important to the IFC right now?
Well, it's a critical sector amongst many sectors. As you mentioned, FY24, 14 billion, FY25 at 15 billion. And so we're really growing progressively. And part of that, or a large part of that, is dedicated to digital. And now when I say digital, I mean digital infrastructure, but also venture capital. So it's, when you want to grow in the digital space, you need to make sure that you have the infrastructure foundation to support it. And that is in terms of broadband, connectivity, wires, but also energy. All of these are elements to giving a country a strong digital foundation to expand in this new era of where the world is going.
And 14 billion, that's a huge sum.
Yeah.
With that investment, so far, what have you seen? Some of the benefits, that most of the countries you've invested in are seeing right now.
A great question. So at the end of the day, why we do what we do is to create jobs, because jobs are really the engine of economic growth. When you have a job, you're able to see the future, you're able to recreate and produce and add back to your economy and create other jobs. So it's really the engine of growth that keeps us all going, right? So what we do is we look at where is it that we feel that jobs can be most advanced by mobilizing capital. And you'll find that those are the sectors that, not surprising, agriculture, industry, manufacturing, digital, infrastructure, and also the financial sector. These are really the backbones of any economy. And so if you look at where we have focused across the continent, those really define it. In the digital infrastructure space, which includes energy, we have invested quite a bit. In Nigeria, for example, of this 14 billion in FY25, 15 billion in F24, and then F25, 15 billion. You'll find that about 15% of it has gone to digital and infrastructure, if not more. And that is because of the centrality of that sector to making sure that the economy is able to grow. Africa stands at 1.5 billion people today. And in 25 years, it'll be 2.5 billion, with 600 million new entrants to the job market. Nigeria is at the forefront of that. The turn of the century, Nigeria will be the most populous country on the continent. So it is really the heart of Africa. And the way Nigeria goes, Africa will go. So we're really invested in seeing how we can mobilize capital across all of these sectors in Nigeria.
And looking at, supporting most of these businesses, we also have the startup, side of things. And some see startups as risky, but you guys are still investing. About 1,200 startups have received investment. How are you, managing, risk of investing in a startup and actually, getting the right ones, the money they need?
So you put your finger on it. Everything is risky, right? But where you see engines of growth, you need to double down. And IFC is not in the business of shying away from risk. Actually, we are counter-cyclical. We are there for the rainy day and the sunny day. And we are partners for the long term. Because we believe that it is the fundamentals of any economy that you need to stick by. And Nigeria has the foundations that make startups and the startup sector really grow. Look at some of the companies that have emerged out of Nigeria in the recent years. You'll see that these are companies that IFC has really backed. We can name quite a few of them, but as you said, we've supported across the continent 1,200 companies, and we've invested almost $1 billion directly and indirectly through our venture platforms and through venture funds.
All right, and talking about some of these venture funds, we can't shy away from artificial intelligence. at this point. And GITEX, a lot of conversations, about artificial intelligence and how it's either helping or the risk that we see coming with AI. So how's IFC navigating all of that investments?
So as I was mentioning, yes, GITEX is really exciting. I mean, I was in Abuja earlier this week, and then Lagos yesterday and today. And if you go around into the pavilions here in Lagos, I mean, it's hard not to be amazed by the vitality, by the energy, by the optimism, by the innovation that the Nigerian youth and entrepreneurs from across the region are bringing to this sector. So you look at this vitality and you think, that's the future. And so we have to be investing in the future. As I mentioned, key to enabling these youth to do what they do is making sure you get the fundamentals of the infrastructure right. Yes, 86% of Africans have mobile phones, but are they actually getting the best use out of them? Are we reaching all parts of the country in rural areas? Are we serving underserved communities? Are we looking to women and what they can do to focus on the economy and support the economy? So that's really where IFC has its eye on, and it doesn't do it alone. It does it in partnerships with international investors, with domestic investors, working with government. It's all about partnerships in order to be able to leverage these partnerships to get to the benefits of the demographic dividend that Africa holds.
Right, and all of us want to see dividends at this point. So what are you seeing in the future? Investment coming into the continent from the IFC, and the trends that you're seeing that will shape your investment decisions?
So again, it's about growth and it's about jobs. And so we are doubling down. We're really putting as much resources as we can and creating as many partnerships as we can. And it's not just about the capital that we mobilize. We also bring a lot of advisory services. So we work with firms, we work with our partners around risk management, around governance frameworks, to enable them to be sustainable and grow into the future, because that's critical. It's not just about financing. If you look again at you mentioned AI sector. So the AI sector, yes, you need to have the foundational infrastructure. You also need to bridge the skills gap. We have a lot of digital illiteracy, so how do you bridge that gap? That's critical. How do you put in place the regulations that will allow governments to allow for innovation, but also protect against the risks of what AI and other digital technologies can bring? So all of these have to be put together in order to be able to reap those dividends that we were talking about.
Fantastic, and definitely I wish you the very best, and we're hoping that everyone benefits from all of this technology and investment. Thank you so much, Dalia Khalifa, the IFC Regional Director. It's great having your perspective today.
Thank you.
Now we're switching over to Nigeria's oil and gas industry. We see the sector remains a cornerstone of the economy, but as global energy dynamics shift, the demand for highly skilled, tech-savvy professionals has never been greater. And bridging the gap between classroom learning and real-world application is now critical, not just for employability, but to ensure Nigeria's workforce can compete globally. Joining us to unpack this conversation now, we have Professor Eucharia Oluchi, which is a board member, Triple Helix Nigeria. We have Dr. David Memena, the Secretary General, Oil and Gas Trainers Association of Nigeria. And we have Dr. David from Abuja studio, and Professor Eucharia joining us via Zoom. It's great to have you both on the show. Good morning. All right, let me start with Professor Eucharia now. It's great to have you on the show. Talk to me about the importance, of introducing, students to real-world engineering tools, during their years of training, because, the schools are churning out a lot of people now into the labor market, but, most of the time, some don't seem to have the kind of experience you would expect them, to have. So, Professor Eucharia, help us, break down the importance of this.
Thank you so much for having me, Dari. It's absolutely very critical to prepare the students early because we're preparing them for a future, for an industry that is already running on advanced tools like the surface engineering petroleum life cycle, which we call the SEPA. So exposing them early beyond the chalk and board or the marker and board is something that gives them two important skills: confidence and, again, competence before they step into the workplace, which we're preparing them for. So I want you also to think of it like aviation. No one trains a pilot without simulators. So CEPAL for us in this context is like the simulators for petroleum engineers. It allows students to practice real-time well and reservoir management with the real world scenarios. And that way, the students on graduation are not just theory ready, but they are industry ready. So you can see from the deduction that early exposure to this software to advanced platforms like CEPAL would transform the students that we're training today from being passive learners into real problem solvers in the industry, and then can hit the ground running.
Right, because, you know, we're seeing a lot of improvements now in Nigeria's oil and gas industry, more barrels, you know, coming out of the ground. So we need most of our graduates to actually understand that, trying to get into that industry. But let me come to you now, Dr. David Memena. You know, from your perspective, how can early exposure to, you know, technology shape the quality of future oil and gas professionals in the country?
Octan, Oil and Gas Association of Nigeria, is a bridge between the university and the industry, right? Octan has over 400 member companies that offer different trainings, different areas of trainings in the oil and gas. So if you're looking at building capacity of those that are coming out from the university, Octan is a bridge that builds that capacity and get them ready for the oil and gas. So if we're looking at the future, right, for those that are in the university, if they don't have access to this technology, the oil and gas industry is driven on technology, is driven on quality, is driven on safety, is driven on standard. So if we don't expose these young graduates or young professionals that are going to be graduating from the university into this knowing of or knowledge about what these skills and technology changes that are happening in the industry, if you don't expose them to those innovations, you're going to be having issues. By the time they come out of the universities, it'll be difficult for them to be able to walk into the industry and start working. So what we do is that we're looking at Octan and Triple Helix coming together and saying, okay, we're building this system. We want a situation whereby that collaboration between the university and the industry, Octan bridge that collaboration. The young professionals are exposed to early technologies, so as they're coming out from the university, they are readily available to come into the industries and start working. So all of these are some of the things that we're looking at, because we understand that in the late 90s, early 2000s, some of the technology advancement we have right now, we don't have them at that time. So it was easy at that time, but right now, technology have advanced a lot, so we must be able to get them to understand that if you can be able to function very well, if you're coming in as a subsea engineer, for example, or as a petroleum engineer, for example, you must have access to this technology, have access to these tools, have access to this software, so that by the time you finish your 4 years or 5 years degree course, it's easy for you to get into the industry and start working immediately without having to wait for a longer time to go through some other form of trainings and all of that. So those are some of the things that we're looking at, and we see that it will be very important and very good for the universities and the students to have access to this technology early, so that it's easy and for them to come in and function very well.
Right, and definitely getting in early is very, very important. But let me take it to Professor Ikere now. What kind of practical skills do you think students need most, you know, to be industry ready? And, you know, how can initiatives like this tech, you know, help bridge that gap?
Hey there, thanks for that question again. The most important skill set we think now that the students need would be integration, would be data-driven decision-making, would be problem solving. What do we mean by integration? We mean breaking silos, connecting data, connecting disciplines, connecting institutions, connecting solution delivery that works in the real world. Yeah, that what we want to see. In petroleum engineering, it means, therefore, that we're able to connect using the CEPAL, the reservoir engineering, connecting the petroleum economies, connecting the production technology into one coherent solution. And CEPAL is that first end-to-end in all the spectrum platform that allows exactly that to happen. Our partnership with Octane and Triple Helix and Octane and Cypher Crescent is very deliberate. Why do I say that? Because in Triple Helix Nigeria, we exist to integrate knowledge institutions, industry, and government in ways that accelerate innovation, that builds human capacity, and drive socioeconomic development. And on the other hand, the Octane has the mandate of standardization, of coordination, of promoting training in the petroleum industry or in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. Then if you put side by side, Triple Helix Nigeria is mobilizing the academic and innovation ecosystem. The Octane is setting the training standards to achieve excellence. And then Cypher Crescent is providing world-class technology like the CEPAL for students. No single stakeholder can bridge this identified gap between the industry and knowledge institutions. Right. So put together, we can deliver a complete pipeline from classroom to the industry. So it aligns again very well with our vision 10, 10, 10, 10, which is the quadruple 10. What does it mean for us? We want to see knowledge institutions, 10 of them at least, to hold at least 10% equity in 10 listed companies when in the next 10 years. That is bold and transformational because
quite a bold
for that
one.
to happen, we want to see students leave school, not just as people who are employable, but then people who are capable of creating value. Value that can be scaled and value that can be owned by the creators. Okay. So CEPAL Students Edition, is that very stepping stone to making that vision real for us. So you can see that this true partnership with Triple Helix and Octane, where Cypher Crescent is delivering the technology. We are not just training students. We are equipping knowledge institutions to create and own value that they are creating in the energy economy.
Fantastic. Yeah, you guys are very, very busy. And definitely we hope you train as much more youths there coming into the oil and gas industry so that we can get more barrels out of the ground and develop more. But we've run out of time at this time. But thank you so much for coming on, Professor Eukaria Oluchi-Nwaichi is a board member, Triple Helix Nigeria, and Dr. David Ememena in Abuja studio, Secretary General, Oil and Gas Trainers Association of Nigeria. Thank you both for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dari.
It's actually Ladi. Thank you both for coming. All right, let's flip over now. Let's find out what's happening in the global space now. I've kept you so long. Will, so sorry.
I got news for us.
Fantastic.
Definitely starting with Donald Trump. President Donald Trump has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to fast-track an appeal after a lower court ruled the sweeping tariffs illegal. The Federal Circuit Court said Trump overstepped his authority, stressing tariffs for under Congress power. The ruling threatens a pillar of his trade agenda. Now, Trump argues delaying a ruling could disrupt $750 billion to $1 trillion in collected tariffs, warning the decision undermines U.S. diplomacy and security. Still with Donald Trump, is set to host about 24 tech and business leaders on Thursday for the first event in the White House renovated Rose Garden. Guests include Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Bill Gates, Sam Altman, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, and Oracle Safra's Katz. The dinner follows a White House AI event led by First Lady Melania Trump. Now, the garden highlights Trump's complicated ties with big tech as executives seek closer cooperation on U.S. tech and reshoring goals. Notably, Elon Musk was not invited. Now, India has slashed the goods and services tax on renewable energy equipment from 12% to 5%, aiming to boost local demand and cushion the economy against U.S. tariffs. And the cut, effective September 22nd, covers solar panels, windmill parts, and biogas equipment, potentially lowering consumer costs and accelerating clean energy adoption. NASDAQ targets small Chinese IPOs. Now, that's much we can take on global space, and we're looking forward to more stories tomorrow. Though it's a holiday in Nigeria, but the market continues to work. Ladi,
right, and yeah, looking forward to Elon Musk and Trump making it back.
Elon Musk is not going to be, he's not invited.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Well, that's much we can take today. Thank you so much for watching Business Morning. Last trading day of the week for Nigeria. So make it count. Thanks for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.